What's going on, Wolves and Warriors? My name's Jay Stewart, and this is the Better Body Academy podcast, the #1 show for those looking to permanently overhaul their mind and body without dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. We banish the fitness industry BS and replace it with science-backed strategies proven through countless client transformations. In the Better Body Academy, we help busy men and women around the world get unstuck and back into momentum so they start feeling strong and sexy again. Our mission is to transform 1 million lives, and you, my friend, could be next. And on that note, let's get straight into today's show. This is the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. And today we are going to be discussing this concept of the growth being in the struggle. Ooh, what a concept. I love this concept so much. So if you are tuning in live, guys, feel free to make some comments during it. Otherwise, guys, I'm going to be discussing this idea of when you're really trying to walk through mud, what do you actually do? How does it feel? And what are some of the lessons you can actually learn? Now, I was telling the guys offline, if you don't know, we are available on Apple and Spotify if you want to subscribe and share. But let's get stuck into today's podcast. Okay, so this podcast is going out to the men and women that feel like at the moment they are in the gutter. They are in the gutter trying to climb out. They're in the gutter and they almost feel like, despite the fact that they've been in the gutter for a while, they just keep getting kicked. What is it about this fact that I keep getting kicked down? Every time I think that I'm ready to go, I get kicked down again. To those of you that have been there for a while, a good period, just wondering, when is it all going to end? When is life going to start going my way a little bit? This podcast episode is going out to you, and maybe it's to do with your finances. Maybe it's to do with work. Maybe it's a tough time in your relationship. Whatever it could be that we're actually struggling with, this podcast episode is going out to you because I want to show you how the growth is indeed in the struggle. So guys, inside of the BBA, the Better Body Academy, we talk a lot about failure. Now, of course, this is going to happen because when you're in a transformation program, to think that success is going to be in some way linear is ridiculous. It's completely ridiculous. The challenge is that I think that we do not understand failure at a level where we can consciously process it in the best way that it could be used. I think a lot of us go from, on our journey, we make a mistake. Maybe we go on a weekend bender. Maybe, I don't know, some friends come around and we stop tracking our nutrition. Maybe we skip gym for 3, 4, 5, 10 days in a row. And we go from failing, which is an action, to becoming a failure. Now, what's the problem with that? When you become a failure, being a failure is an identity. That's an identity. I am a failure. But when we talk about failing, that's an action. Okay? That's an action. Holding the position of being a failure for a very long period of time is completely debilitating. It's horrible for your lifestyle. And let's take those of you that feel that your life purpose is all about trying to be the best mother and father that you could potentially be. Well, if you're in this disabled sense of, I am a failure, because you've been going through this struggle for a long period of time, all of the energy is being pointed inwards towards you. Now, if your life purpose is to help other people, including your sons, your daughters, your colleagues, your work friends, whatever it is, and all of the energy is being absorbed by you because you're in the disempowered position of struggle, this is happening to me, I'm a failure, it's preventing you from being able to address your life purpose, which is to give and help people. So you can see why it's a problem in your life if you are occupying this position for a period of time which goes more than a day or two. Now, I do think it is slightly ridiculous when people say, well, everyone has the same opportunities and everyone should just have a go in life. And they kind of brush off the fact that some people start 20 meters in front of the start line. Other people start 20 meters behind the start line. What do I mean by that? Well, I'm very lucky to come from a family that's a middle-class family personally, but my parents were brilliant parents and they put me in a position where I was able to go and, inverted commas, be successful. But there are others of us who didn't get a great start in life. And so I think it's just a bit ridiculous when we say, oh, we've all got the same, just do it, just get off your ass. I think that certainly our conditioning and our life circumstances do play a role in our starting point. Some people are a little bit more privileged than others. Others are starting 20 meters behind the ball, behind the starting line. However, there is a difference between accepting that that is finite to you, that you can't do anything about that, and actually moving forward. If you can reframe your current struggles and pick yourself up off the deck, these struggles will soon enough become your best friend. And I've got two guys when I say that I'm thinking about at the moment that are both in the Better Body Academy. One of them, his name's Jake, splendid human, incredible human. And he's had a bloody rough trot over the course of the last 6 months, which at its highest point involved his old man passing away from a heart attack at a mid-60 age, which come as a shock to everyone. He didn't expect this. And so over that period of time, a lot of the weight that he lost, he'd put back on. But he came live in our community the other day and he raised his hand and he said, I'm back. And he'd had the courage to pick himself up off the deck. And now he's using that pain to create leverage over himself to act. Another one of my clients who's currently in my mastermind is going through a period of time where after changing jobs, some kind of difficult times with his kids and relationship, his confidence is struggling, he's buried. And over the course of probably 2 weeks, he's just felt low. His energies felt low. But what he did this week, come Monday, is he owned up and he stepped the fuck up and made himself accountable. Now he's back in action. And by the way, this guy is down over 25 centimeters off his guts, okay? And in addition to that, has lost close to 30 kilograms. I think a lot of people understand analogies, and so I'm going to use an analogy to describe this process of failure and how it can indeed benefit us. I think let's talk about a place that we are all happy to talk about failure, and that's in the gym, right? So how does weightlifting actually cause muscle to grow? How does that actually happen? Well, it happens by a muscle that hasn't got the ability to move a weight over time through repetition, slowly developing the ability to create force to lift that thing. The gains stop when the muscle becomes adapted to that weight. That's how muscles grow. Muscles grow because over time, when they're subjected to pressure and force, the only way that they can conquer that force is to adapt and grow and get bigger and stronger, lay down more muscle fibers, build greater strength. That's how muscles grow. You see guys and girls in the gym and they're pushing up against their edge. They understand that the only way they're going to get results is if they push up against their edge, if they get close to failure. And they can see themselves forcing the growth in the mirror, right? You know what it's like. You're sitting there, you're on you're halfway through your set, you feel like giving up, but you push yourself and you push yourself and you push yourself because you know that the growth lies in the struggle. In life, we don't often see the growth or the value that lies in this struggle. And why is that? Well, For me, it's because it's not always obvious in the mirror. When we're looking in the mirror, we can see our muscles growing over time. But if we're struggling in life, how do we actually see that growth is benefiting us? And the other challenge is when we're deep in the struggles of tough relationship times, financial heartaches, poor health, it's very difficult to see the value of the little wins that we're actually having. So I just want you to take a moment now to imagine your life and the things that you value and what they would be worth to you if there wasn't a struggle involved. Let's talk about your children. How long did you try for children? Did you struggle to provide for them in the early days? Maybe you were really young when you had kids. Were you like us? Claudia and I were in the hospital for the first 2 weeks in intensive care of our child's life. And so we highly value the love that we have for our daughter because of the struggle that we went through to actually having her. And what about your business? How many man hours have you put into your business or your job before you actually made a return or got a promotion or got a pay rise? How many days and weeks did you have to slay away? Imagine it all happened on day one. What would that actually be worth to you? The value lies in the growth. And I think that there is a definite link between the depth of the struggle and the upside of the value that's provided in your life. And that's definitely true when it comes to a transformation. In fact, this is actually a law called the law of polarity. The law of polarity. Each point of pain and struggle that you have in your life is just one side of a two-sided coin. The things that cause you pain and pleasure can within the same day cause you same things that cause you pain and struggle can in the same day cause you incredible amounts of value and pleasure. Your relationship is a perfect example of this. What about jumping on the scales when you're in a transformation and you jump on the scales and one day it feels really rewarding and you feel like you're being validated and you feel good. And then another day you jump on the scales and you feel horrible, you feel bad, you feel like you haven't made any progress. This is called the law of polarity. And so many of us get stuck on the pleasure side of the coin, forgetting that pleasure and pain are just two sides to the same coin. The two sides to the same coin. The challenge is in the depth of your struggle or the pain that you're currently in. My brother, my sister, who this is directed to, you need one thing, and this is the idea of awareness. The idea of awareness that this struggle that you're currently going through will end. It will end. It's not a matter of if, but when. It will end. No pain is permanent. In the same way that no pleasure is permanent. All these things will pass. One of my favorite ever quotes was that by Steve Jobs, who said, "The dots never connect looking forward. They only ever connect looking backwards." I'm going to say that again and let that ring. The dots never connect looking forward. They only ever connect looking backwards. You have to believe that the dots will join. And you have to believe that your current struggle is making you who you need to be to live at a higher level. If you're listening to this podcast and you're in the depths of your struggle, maybe you have, some depression washing over you, maybe you're not at the body that you want and you've been pounding the treadmill or getting into the gym and it Maybe that you've been tracking your nutrition and each day it feels like you're just not making the progress that you want. You are sowing the seeds to grow into the person that you want to become, to live at a higher level. And if not for the struggle, where would the value be? There would be no value in the struggle, right? You need to understand that, like in a gym, it's the struggle that makes you stronger. Like in a gym, it's the failure that makes you stronger. In the same way that by breaking down these muscle fibers, breaking them down, struggling and straining, and then eating good nutrition and sleeping well, you build muscle. This is the same truth that is obeyed in the struggle. When you feel like nothing's working for you, and you persist, and you persist, and you come out the other side of that, what happens? You've just calloused your mind in the same way that you callous your hands. You will one day look back, like I personally have in my own life, and the shitty times that I struggled with, and be so damn happy for the struggle, for the shit that you went through that made you a better man or woman. But as Steve Jobs said, you won't know that unless you are super self-aware, or until you look backwards and the heartaches that you're going through at the moment, the struggles that you're going through at the moment, have all joined their dots. It all starts to make sense. All those things that you went through caused you to become the person that you now are. Does this make sense, guys? If you're listening on at home, I want you to give me a silent head nod. This concept of failure needs to be reframed. Stop thinking that the journey is linear. The journey is never linear. If it were linear, it would not be worth anything, because everyone would be at the same spot. Everyone would have a beautiful six-pack. Everyone would have a toned butt and fantastic legs and be thinking on a different wavelength, and all the financials, everyone would be millionaires. It doesn't work like that. And so your goal is to understand that this failure is custom made for you and your life circumstances to propel you to the next level. So hopefully this podcast is a small call to action to get you, if you are stuck at the moment, to persist. To persist. You are 3 feet from gold, but you will never recognize it if you put the permanent exclamation mark on it. I failed. You choose whether or not you fail. And it only becomes a failure if you stop moving forward, if you stop getting off the canvas. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. I think this is a really pertinent and relevant podcast at this time, when a lot of people on the back end of COVID are going through these struggles. But it's now time to stand up. It's now time to understand that this is the catalyst for your action, for your next action to propel you to the next level. Guys, my name's Jay Stewart. This is the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I will catch you in the next. Wolves and Warriors, thank you so much for tuning in. If this podcast is hitting the mark for you and giving you the confidence to start your own personal journey, I want you to hit me up on Facebook or head over to my Instagram at jstewart_BetterBodyAcademy and DM me with the words Better Body Academy. I want to give you the tools to permanently overhaul your mind and body without dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. Our mission is to achieve 1 million lives transformed, and you, my friend, could be next. So hit me up on Facebook or head over to my Instagram at jstewart_BetterBodyAcademy and DM me with the words Better Body Academy, and we can have a chat about whether we can help you with your transformation goals.